Hello, this is a 225 Q&A test. Plaintiff attorney is Mr. Dunham, D-U-N-H-A-M. Defense attorney is Mr. Wagner, W-A-G-N-E-R. Again, plaintiff attorney Mr. Dunham, D-U-N-H-A-M. Defense attorney is Mr. Wagner, W-A-G-N-E-R. This test is going to start off with the court. Ready? Is there anything else, gentlemen? Before we leave, this is off the record, okay? Okay, we are back on the record, and people of the state of California versus Greer and Lindsay, the defendants are present with counsel, people are present by counsel, and all the jurors are present in the box. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do things a little bit out of order here. Mr. Dunham has a witness that he needs to call now before Mr. Wagner has an opportunity to finish his cross-examination of Detective Gordon. So that's to let you know why it is not going in the same organized fashion that we had hoped for. Mr. Dunham, call your next witness, please. Dr. Dennis Yaden, you do solemnly state that the testimony you're about to give in the matter now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes, I swear. Please be seated, sir. The chair doesn't move. You'll have to squeeze in there. Okay, thank you. Please state your full name and spell your last name for the record. My name is Dennis Yaden, Y-A-D-O-N. Please proceed, counsel. Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Yaden, what is your occupation? I'm a physician. And are you licensed to practice medicine in the state of California? Yes, I am. How long have you been so licensed? A little less than 2 years. Are you board certified in emergency medicine? Yes, I am. Is that your specialty? Yes, it is. On August 28th, 2014, were you working at the Barstow Community Hospital? Yes, I was. In what capacity? I was the emergency physician on duty at that hospital. How long had you been working at the Barstow Community Hospital? It has been approximately a year and a half, 2 years, I'm sorry. Okay, on August 28, 2014, did you treat an individual by the name of Nigel Bryson? Yes, I did. Do you recall approximately what time he came in the emergency room? It was in the evening. If I may refer to my record, I will be able to see the exact times that I saw him. Sure, if that would refresh your recollection, you may do so. He arrived at 8:46 p.m. on that evening, and at that time, did you have an opportunity to examine him? Yes, I did. And where did this examination take place? This took place in the trauma room in the emergency department. Did you know how Mr. Bryson arrived at the emergency room? Yes, he arrived by paramedic ambulance. What was the first thing you did in your examination of Mr. Bryson? Well, I customarily observed the patient to see his level of consciousness. I asked him a few brief questions. In that he had reportedly been shot, I observed the bullet wound and any potential injuries that it may have caused. During your initial contact with Mr. Bryson, could you describe his demeanor? What was his reaction? He was pale, sweaty, and highly agitated. Did you have an opportunity to speak with him during this time? Yes, I did. Would you say that he was alert and oriented? Yes, he was. What did you do in order to treat him? Well, we started an IV in case he was going into shock. I certainly assessed his vital signs, examined him, and I ultimately took the x-rays. Did he appear to be in shock? He appeared like he could potentially be in shock because he was so agitated. You said you did some x-rays. What did you take x-rays of? I basically took x-rays of his chest. He had an entrance wound in his mid-chest posteriorly in his back, and I wanted to ascertain the position of the bullet and make sure he didn't have a collapsed lung or bleeding in his lung. Now, exactly where did you see the entrance wound of Mr. Bryson? It was in the mid-back, sir, the part of the back that is in the back of your chest, almost directly on the midline, right over the spine. Can you describe the injury to the jury, please? Yes, the entrance. Go ahead, please do so. The entrance wound. The bullet entered at a fairly tight angle, abrading the skin just prior to the bullet actually penetrating the skin, and I would indicate that's what you would like to see in a patient because it generally means that the bullet has a high probability of not penetrating deep structures and causing a mortal injury to the patient. During your examination of Mr. Bryson, did you observe any exit wounds? No, I did not. When you performed the x-rays on Mr. Bryson, were you able to know where the bullet was? Yes, it was. It appeared to be in the soft tissue of the body. During your examination of Mr. Bryson, did you notice any damage to the tissue or injuries that the bullet may have caused? Well, other than to the skin, it appeared that there was no other damage to the patient. Did you subsequently remove the bullet from Mr. Bryson at that time? No, I did not. Why didn't you remove the bullet from his body? Because it was apparently sitting in the soft tissue structures. It was deep. It was not, I couldn't touch it. To go after it could cause harm, and to leave it would be extremely unlikely to cause him any harm. So it was best that I left it. What type of harm could it have caused you if you tried to remove the bullet from him? I would have to incise the skin and probe it with a scope. I could possibly cut nerves, muscles, and maybe even penetrate his lung. I even got a second opinion from the other doctor who agreed with me to leave the bullet. What doctor was this that gave you the other opinion? This was Dr. Miller. He has been in practice for many years. Do you work with Dr. Miller from time to time at the Barstow Community Hospital? Yes, I do. I have worked with him for the past 2 years. I believe he was there for approximately 10 years before I even started at the hospital. He is the doctor that we all get our second opinions from. He has written several books on medical topics. How often would you say you share a shift with Dr. Miller at that hospital? Oh, at least once a week. We work in the same area of the hospital, so it's frequently. Okay, there is a word list. We've got Dennis, capital Dennis. Yaden is spelled out in the transcript. Barstow Community Hospital, capital Barstow. Community, capital Community. Hospital, capital Hospital. Detective Gordon, capital Detective. Gordon, capital Gordon. Nigel Bryson, capital Nigel. Bryson, capital Bryson. And then we've got State of California versus Greer and Lindsay. You're going to capitalize S on state. Of is lowercase. California, capital California. Versus is spelled out but lowercase. Versus, lowercase v. Greer, capital Greer. And is lowercase. Lindsay, capital Lindsey. And that concludes our 225 Q&A test. Good luck.